my name is Matthew. So the reason I came, so my weight loss journey was, I'm now 50, and I've gone through Weight Watchers, South Beach, Atkins, you name it. Nothing, everything. I've had marginal success with different programs. Never had really the kind of support I probably needed, and moreover, I never really had the immediate success. I think that ecstatic feeling of really seeing things change in a short period of time. And I quickly, in all those other programs, I really lost just the motivation because the results were not there, or they were going so slow. It was very frustrating. And then whenever you started to roll back, it's like you could wipe out so much progress. It was very difficult. I've actually had some friends of mine who did similar kind of weight loss programs and had a lot of success, and I was inspired by them. Actually, some coworkers, that's my dog right there. So the coworkers, they had success on it, and so I said, hey, I'll look into it. And so I was looking up, essentially, I didn't want to go to a program like like one of these Jenny Craig's or those kind of programs, because I wanted to actually have the help of a doctor. I was on 3 different different medications, for hypertension, those kind of things that were becoming problematic for me, and I wanted to make sure I did it right. So I really just went online and just started reading reviews in my area, and I pretty much came up, Hearn Reed came up as 5-star almost across the board on Google and Yelp and everything else that I could find. And I called up a couple, and Hearn Reed was the first one to call me back, first one to set me up an appointment. So, 2 weeks later, the other guys took at least 2 more weeks by the way to get back to me. I'm sorry, I've already had my first meeting, and I'm done. So, too late. So, I got to tell you that when I started the program, it was really quite nice. I like the introduction program with the program, the 4-week introduction. Weight loss was just amazing. My journey was probably a little bit more difficult than most because, Amanda's been my nutritionist, my coach, and I travel a lot in my job. I mean, I was up towards 75-80% travel. So trying to adapt, that was up front. I had 2 big problems. With me, weight loss was one is I traveled and I entertained customers for a living, and that is just like undermines everything you try to do with weight loss. So I had to really deal with a lot of that. Secondly, I hated exercise. I mean, I was the guy who did, tried to avoid PE in high school and minimal sports, and just, because I was never good at it. I was always a fat kid, even, from high school. So when I started with it, she helped put together some, how do you go through an airport? How do you make it through a flight? Hey, if you got to have a drink with a client, what do you have? And she put down some clear rules, and I had to check in and log it and show her what I did. And she didn't beat me up if I blew it a little bit one time, but overall, I started off when I first walked in. When I first called Hearn Reed, I was 319 pounds, and I'm now 210. So it was. I think that when I first came in, I was like 319, and I really tried to exercise a whole lot and starve myself before that first weigh-in so I wouldn't look as embarrassed. Kind of silly, you're looking back at it, but so I think my first weigh-in might be like 310 after I dehydrated myself, but that's what it was. So like that mattered. But I ended up coming back, and sometimes I couldn't make it in every week, but I made sure I always emailed her on. I could be in Amsterdam, I could be in Copenhagen, I could be in London. I was all over the world, always writing in my reports, letting you know what's going on, staying on the program. And believe it or not, I was the guy on the airplanes with my shaker, doing my shakers on the airplane, and it worked out pretty good. And I had specific rules about if I was going to be in trouble in a foreign country, what can you eat? And so I always was making sure I was prepared. So that was a lot of just adjusting the behavior on that was a lot to it. Being just really accountable to somebody was what I needed. Really, that one-on-one accountability, which works great. And I can't tell you how good Amanda is, and the personal touch that she has of, just commiserating you and not beating you up, because that was a big deal for me. So then as I got through the program, I think I went from July, I think I started like early July. I started the program in 2019. By the end of January, I had reached a goal. And then became the hard part, which was, I really took to heart, that whole idea of don't work out too much. You're trying to diet and didn't exercise. Now I had to learn how to exercise. And what surprised the heck out of me was that being a lot lighter, things like my ankles didn't hurt anymore. I'm off my blood pressure medicines. And suddenly exercise wasn't a big deal. And I remember I would work with like the exercise physiologist there that you had at the time, worked up, he said, hey, don't stick to one thing, just keep experimenting, find something you like. And so I've always tried, I worked out, I was like, I gotta run, or I gotta do this exercise bicycle, just stick to it. And if I can't do it, I'm a failure. He goes like, no, you do yoga one day. You don't like that? Go do a Zumba class. You don't like that? Go do a HIIT class. You don't like that? Go out and take a walk. Just move, do something, just keep trying. I kept on just doing that. I'd say for like 2 months, I was never on any single program. But then I discovered what kind of worked for me. And then I started running and biking, and I found out that I liked running and biking a lot. I by the way, saying that I run is like ridiculous to say that now, because again, I was the guy in middle school trying to get out of PE class. Oh, I'm sick, stuff like that. Just I hated it so much. Now I'm jogging. I must be running like over 25 miles a week. Last weekend I ran 9.5 miles on Sunday. I'm riding my bike over 40 miles at a time, or typical time is like 20 miles at a time. So it's, truly my physical fitness is, I've never been more physically fit in my life, to be honest. It's been great. But I'll tell you one thing, I look at myself as being sort of, this is going to sound awful, I look at myself as being like a recovering addict, because I was a food addict, and I still say I am still a food addict. I'm still have comfort foods that I want to go to. And because of that, when I signed up for the program, I said, I'm going to meet the goal weight, and I'm going to stay in the maintenance program for no less than 2 years. And think about it, coming up here in January will be my 1-year anniversary. That'll be halfway through my goal. By the way, because I've been through where you lose the weight, and I need to have that accountability. I don't come every week, and I might come once every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks, just to stay in contact. I've made some good friends, by the way, in the class. So, we all kind of bolster each other up a little bit. We've all been on this journey together, which is really great. So moving forward, I continue to do it, and I'm very fortunate, because the company I work for has a great healthcare program. It sounds crazy to say that, but everything, most of it's covered through, all my appointments are covered through health insurance. My maintenance program is coming through health insurance. My company wants us to be healthy, so they really make sure they promote that with us. So there's really no reason that I might not just continue doing this forever, because I know I'm saving a ton on future problems with my health. And this is sound awful. I mean, I was having gout issues. I mean, Lord, you haven't gone through pain until you've had gout at 319 pounds. Now it's like wonderful. I can't imagine that. So it's just having all of those issues out of the way has been great. So that's kind of like been, where I've gone through it. I'm going to continue on with the program. I'm again, no less than a year, probably more. There's no reason for me to stop, even if I'm just coming once a month or once every couple of months, just so I can make sure I got somebody who will, will say, Matt, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and keeping your macros right, and you're not eating enough of these kinds of vegetables, and keeping your whatever you have to do right. I have that person who can help me out, because I know that, again, I look at myself as being like I have to get over those bad habits. Those habits are 50 years in the making. So it's going to take a long time to untrain them. So I'm a realist about it. that's kind of like, where I got from here. But, for me, it's been just wonderful. I'm now like an exercise addict too, which is crazy. I'm in my exercise clothes right now. I'm getting ready to go for a run. So that's why my dog is over here. She's like, "Are we ready to go?" So here we are.
Yeah. So do you find, I know you travel, I used to travel a lot too. And you get we used to call it the travel basketball because, you sit on the plane, you sit waiting for
Oh,
the plane, you sit on the plane, you sit with clients. Do
oh
you
yeah.
find now that it's easier to travel, hoofing it through the airport, just being more comfortable on the plane? It seems
Oh,
like
you know
it
what?
would be, but
Sitting on an airplane, before, man, how tight is the seatbelt going to be? I couldn't bring myself to ask for the extension seatbelt. So I'm telling you, I've been through some painful flights. You're kind of exploding into the guys. Now I'm like comfortably sitting on my airplane. I don't feel like I'm filling it up. Uh, it's that, but also, it used to be like when I go out with customers, I always felt bad, like, oh, maybe I should have that cake with them. Oh, I should have the big, steak with my customers, that kind of thing, or I'm out with a group of people on these trips, and now it's like, I've realized that that was all in my head. That truly was all in my head. That need to fit in, eating with the guys, and that kind of thing. Now it's like, I go out, I have I say salmon and double vegetables. I don't want the rice. I say double vegetable steamed, and you'd be surprised how many people. In fact, I've become sort of like an ambassador to weight loss at my company, because everybody's like, "How did you do it?" And so you'll be sitting around these people who have to eat. I think people are like, "Oh, now, Matt, everybody's ordering fish and rice and
I
brown
was,
rice."
yeah, I
And
was just going to
I'm
bring
just,
that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, this is how you look what Matt did." So it's not like, oh, he's trying to get healthy. It's like, look what happened to him. This is how he eats. And people say, well, you sure you don't want to have it? And my quick response is back. I said, look, I'm never going to go back. Why would I go back? Oh, I get it. Nobody bugs me. I've learned
Yeah.
to stand up for myself. I don't get, I don't listen to people pushing the food on me. I've got these new habits in place, and I got the proof to back it up too. So that kind of
Well,
helps really hold my position.
how many clients now do go out and it's the reverse? You were
Oh, it
feeling
is.
like, man, what should I have that cake? Should I have the extra
Oh
drink?
yeah.
Whatever. And now, now that you're there and you talk to people about that, like how many times now is it the reverse where somebody might be, I'm not going to order the cake,
Yeah.
or
Well, you know
that.
what? I've learned also. I've learned how to be that person in the restaurant. They said, "Well, what do you want for dessert?" And I'll say, "Can I have a bowl of strawberries, just plain, nothing on them, no sugar?" "Oh, no problem, sir." I might ask for a little bit of, maybe like a little cream on the side, just a tablespoon on it or something like that. But maybe that, or I just have black coffee, and everybody orders dessert. And if I do that, I've discovered that that's my dessert. I mean, berries are my candy now. I eat a lot of berries, and so yeah, you just learn these skills, these replacement skills that nobody, you don't make it a big deal. And again, I think it was, again, I had this need to kind of, you had to fit in, you had to do what the other people are doing at the time, and really that wasn't healthy habits. And I would say I know several people now who are actually actively losing weight because they've been on trips with me, and are like, okay, how did you do it? How did you get, what are you doing? Are you really getting up at 5 in the morning to go exercise on these trips? Yeah, I really am. You got to get it in the first of the day, or, if you're going out and, visit with clients in the evening, you got to get first of the day, and you got to do it. You're accountable to it. And I recorded everything I do. So, yeah, no, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.